Mm-hmm.
You're listening to the Oracle Talk Radio Network.
Hello, I'm Sabrina Carpenter.
I'm Dasha.
Hey, I'm Billie Eilish.
What's up, guys? I'm Camila Cabello.
Hey, this is Tate McRae.
I love this station.
I love this station.
You're listening to Chasing Prophecy Radio, where we discuss anything and everything beyond the scope of normal. On the Oracle Talk Radio Network. Broadcasting live in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia.
If it's unexplainable, we're talking about it.
Whether you're a believer or a skeptic,
we cover everything where the unknown becomes the known.
And now, here are your hosts, Jenny Nicasio and Tom Callway.
Welcome to Chasing Prophecy on the Oracle Talk Radio Network, broadcasting from New York, Pittsburgh, and Philadelphia, where we discuss anything and everything beyond the scope of normal. I'm Jenny Nicasio, along with my fabulous co-host, Tom Callway. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you doing this week?
Doing well, thank you. I'm just so fascinated by our topic tonight. And I just want to get into it so we have a lot of time to do it. Tom, now, you know, you've watched Poltergeist before, haven't you?
Yes. It was it's still a favorite. It's very creepy. Very well done, I should say, too.
Yes. And did you know that there's a lot of real poltergeists?
Yeah. I mean, the stories about poltergeists and how they behave is quite fascinating because it often hinges on that line between, is it its own thing? Is it like a spirit? Or is it just the energy within inside a human just exploding because they don't know how to control it? And this topic has fascinated me for years. You know what I mean? Just that idea. It's really creepy.
Yeah, and there's such a mysterious force and these disturbances, and we don't know what causes them. And that's what's really fascinating.
Yeah, well, yeah, first, so it has everything, right? It has the unknown. You don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It has unseen forces manipulating our seen world, moving objects, bending things, a lot of times breaking things. That's a big thing too. And also children. The majority of these stories are people under even like 15 or 14. They're like 10 to 15 is when this type of stuff happens. So it's not like you can even, well, if it happened to me, I would understand it. Well, it doesn't really happen to adults.
Yeah. It's weird. So I just want to check because we're having some issues with some of the we're not broadcasting on a lot of the different streamers. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but we're not doing that. I gotta see if I can try to fix it. Did I put the wrong date? Maybe. Is it the date right?
I think this is a StreamYard thing because when you edit it and you go and you look, it says it's playing.
Okay, well, as long as we're playing. So if anybody's out there in StreamYard's world, comment. Joe. Hey, Joe. Hello, Joe. I'm so glad you're here today. Could you check and see if we're broadcasting on Pittsburgh Paranormal? I know you're a friend with Sean Kelly, but it says we're not, and I don't like when it does that. And so we're not really. Well, it seems like we're not broadcasting anywhere. Actually, it says we're not, but we must because unless you have to be on Pittsburgh Paranormal, Joe, because you have to. Because I don't think it shows up on my personal one unless I hit a special. I don't know. Well, we'll just hopefully did you hit 365 live?
Yes, we're on there as well.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, so what I was talking about, we're just going to play along, people. So before we get really into this, make sure you can call. Yeah. If you'd like a comment, it'd be great. If you could, that's something we're trying to do, huh, Tom?
Yeah, we're trying to open up these phone lines, and if it doesn't work, well, it's a work in progress, but we want to be people to give a chime in. If you don't want to talk and have people know what your profile is, give us a ring. You can stay anonymous. We don't know. We don't, we are not the ones to track numbers at all. Anyway, it comes across as anonymous. So if you would like to call in, that's the call-in number handled by Jenny. She will pick up and put you on the air, and we will, shoot this shit, as they say.
Shoot the shit. I'm trying to do the stream. Okay, now we're doing it. I'm going to do it on. I don't know why. We're just going to have to remove and redo it. I don't know why that happens. Everything goes well, and then it gets messed up, which is really weird. So I'm just going to keep doing it until I get them all on there. But so we have a really cool guest, Tom.
We do. A translator, which at least in my time, that's the first I've had being on this show. And, very, very cool to understand a language, outside of the paranormal stuff, to have a language that you feel comfortable in and, write a book in it. That's pretty cool. Not a lot of people can do that. But the story, Jenny, the story he translated, wow.
Yeah, it's really powerful. And, the thing is, I always thought that, a lot of them, you don't really hear too many about the poltergeist itself. You hear hauntings and ghost stories, but this is a true poltergeist. And it was in Poland. So he actually went there to Poland. So while I want to make sure we get these videos, because we're going to play the videos so you guys can see them. We're still trying to
one thing you can do, Jenny, if it's not connecting right to, is just share it from Chasing Prophecy to Pittsburgh Paranormal and your page. That way it'll be on both.
Yeah, I gotta see, because I hope you don't hear what I'm doing. There's something wrong with StreamYards, because I can't even get. It was working and then it went off, so I don't know. So let's play Carrie Ann first, and I'm just gonna try to see if I can. The one Carrie Ann, she's the character. I believe, we can't even get on it. That's bull. Let's see. The video. It's Heather O'Rourke.
All right.
Heather O'Rourke was born on December 27th, 1975 in San Diego, California. She's known for being an actress. She was discovered by famed director Steven Spielberg. She appeared in a lot of TV shows and movies before her life was cut short. Her most recognizable role was in the 1982 horror movie called Poltergeist. She was chosen over Drew Barrymore. I'll never forget her saying, "They're here." Another actress from that movie named Dominique Dunn also died young. Heather reprised her role in Part 2 and 3. She also appeared in the TV shows called Happy Days, Our House, and Webster. She was in a made-for-TV movie called Surviving, A Family Crisis, also starring Molly Ringwald and River Phoenix. Her family was able to move out of a trailer and into a house in Big Bear Lake. She started having health issues in 1987. She got giardiasis from contaminated well water, and she was misdiagnosed with Crohn's disease. She died in 1988 from a tragic combination of acute bowel obstruction called intestinal stenosis, which she was probably born with, septic shock, and cardiac arrest. She was 12 years old.
Wow.
That's a shame.
Crazy. Yeah, that is. Okay, now we can play the other one. Yeah, we can't. It's for some reason it's not working. So we'll just try. I'll try to share it while I'm doing this. Okay, we're going to go to what is a pair. Sometimes maybe we should have used the other one, because this one seems like it always has problems.
A poltergeist, from the German words poltern, to make noise or to rumble, and Geist, ghost or spirit, is traditionally described as a type of ghost or supernatural entity responsible for physical disturbances, such as loud noises and objects being moved or destroyed. These disturbances are often attributed to a spirit or ghost, but some modern explanations also consider psychological factors. Here are key points about poltergeists. 1. Phenomena. Common poltergeist activities include knocking sounds, objects being thrown or moved, unexplained noises, and even physical attacks. These events can seem to defy natural explanation, making them a significant part of paranormal lore. 2. Historical accounts. Reports of poltergeist activity date back to ancient times and are found in various cultures worldwide. Historical records often describe similar disturbances, suggesting a long-standing human fascination with such phenomena. 3. Psychological and parapsychological explanations. Recurrent spontaneous psychokinesis, or RSPK. Some parapsychologists propose that poltergeist activity might be a form of psychokinesis, an ability to move objects with the mind, often unconsciously. This is sometimes linked to individuals, typically adolescents, who are believed to be undergoing intense emotional stress, psychological stress. Some theories suggest that poltergeist activity might be a result of psychological stress manifesting in physical ways, possibly through mechanisms not yet understood by science. 4. Skeptical views. Skeptics argue that poltergeist phenomena can often be explained by natural causes, such as pranks, environmental factors, like vibrations causing objects to move, or psychological suggestions. They emphasize the lack of empirical evidence supporting the existence of supernatural entities. 5. Cultural impact. The concept of the poltergeist has heavily influenced popular culture, including literature, movies, and television. Famous cases like the Enfield poltergeist in England have garnered significant media attention and have been subject to various investigations and debates. In summary, while poltergeists are a prominent element of paranormal folklore, the explanations for their occurrences range from supernatural to psychological and skeptical viewpoints, reflecting a broad spectrum of interpretations.
That's
I like
cool.
that logo. That was a cool logo.
Yeah.
But
So-
we are up on Pittsburgh Paranormal. I just checked. It's posted and they're cross-posted, so people can watch from there.
Good. Good. If
Yep.
you have any comments or questions, please feel free to, post them, or you can give us a call. That would be great. So we have, that was number 2. Which one was that? I don't want to play the same ones. Should have been watching what I was doing. Oh, well.
I got creeped out. Let's talk about poltergeists and what they really are. In German ghost lore or folklore, a poltergeist is also known as a rumbling spirit or a noisy spirit. It's a spectral entity responsible for physical disturbances, such as loud noises or the movement or destruction of objects. Poltergeists are described as capable of biting, hitting, pinching, or even tripping people, as well as manipulating furniture, cutlery, and producing knocking sounds. Foul odors, spontaneous fires, and electrical anomalies like lights flickering are also commonly associated with a poltergeist manifestation. I've heard from certain paranormal researchers and investigators that in their mind, a poltergeist doesn't have more than the strength of a 3-year-old toddler. So maybe they can bite you, they can trip you, they can kick you, they can pinch you, but could they knock over a fully grown man? Nah. Could they pick you up off of your bed and throw you around? No. Nah. So in this Germanic explanation of a poltergeist, we're thinking Peeves from Harry Potter, okay? For those of you who read the books or played Legacy. He's a little bitch. He's annoying as but he's pretty much harmless-ish. Maybe harmless isn't the right word, but mischievous. Mischievous is the main thing when we're thinking about poltergeists and we're thinking about ghost lore or folklore. Historically, poltergeist activities such as objects moving seemingly of their own accord was attributed to malicious spirits. Allan Kardec, the founder of Spiritism, proposed that poltergeists are manifestations of disembodied spirits of low level belonging to the 6th class of the 3rd order. Should we do a video on that and what all that is? Because I feel like maybe we should. Anyways, according to this explanation, they are closely associated with the elements like fire, air, water, earth. However, you may have heard of another theory of what poltergeists really are. There were 2 parapsychologists that came up with this theory, and that was Nandor Fodder. I'm not sure how to say his last name, but first name Nandor. Love it. Thinking of What We Do in the Shadows. Chef's kiss. And William G. Roll was the other one. And they proposed that psychokinesis could explain poltergeist activity. They coined this concept as being spontaneous recurring psychokinesis, theorizing that built-up stress during times of turmoil is unconsciously projecting outward as mental energy, negative energy, and affecting the physical environment and causing phenomena attributed to poltergeist activities. There's also been a theory that poltergeists prefer women over men, which is really interesting. And I'm like, women getting blamed for their emotions? when men are also so emotional? What a new concept. Wow, never heard of that happening before. Typically, a person-centered poltergeist experience involves a female adolescent experiencing emotional turmoil when the activity begins, but not exclusively. William G. Roll disagrees with this only adolescent female type scenario, and he also said that poltergeist activity that is person-centered could manifest from a person aged 8 to 78. That's kind of specific, 8 to 78, but I don't know. But again, the theory is that emotional stress triggers this activity. I don't know if we have any adults who grew up in households that were toxic and just super unhealthy, but did you have any paranormal activity to go along with that? I know I did. And for any children who are in those scenarios now, or for any adolescents who are in those scenarios now, is that something you're experiencing? And also, if you are experiencing that and you are a young person, please reach out to someone who can help you, like a friend's parent, a teacher, you know. Anyways, I am curious here. Who thinks that poltergeists are more of the Germanic folklore type, that these are just mischievous spirits who are, you know, having little tantrums like 3-year-olds do, but, you know, it's kind of fun, not something you really seriously need to worry about? Or who thinks that it is a negative manifestation from emotional turmoil? Let me know. Anyways, that is it for this one. Stay haunted, you cute little mother.
Yeah, you know what? I believe that because I was telling Joel that when I am like having some issues big time, that I can break equipment, like electrical equipment, and nothing ever flew. But you never know. When I had Reiki done,
Yeah.
and I'm laying on the table, and she kind of got spooked because everything started flying off of her bookshelf.
Wow.
Psychokinetic, you know?
That
Yeah.
is well, let's put it to the test. Were you going through a traumatic point in your life?
Oh, my
Or
whole life
emotional
was
stress?
traumatic.
Well, okay, yeah, that's that can happen.
That's true.
Um, but
So I don't
you know,
know, but let me see.
I mean,
Well,
it is weird, and she did get spooked, and things were flying off. Reiki is a spiritual energy type of thing.
mhm.
Maybe you had something in you that didn't want them to to remove.
Maybe. We'll just play this one because we're gonna bring him on in a sec. You're gonna call him,
Okay,
right? Or you want me? Okay.
you can call 'em.
This is the picture,
Yep.
and there's the little girl that had
So this is what
the
the story was. There's the telekinesis ability. I know this is before cameras, I mean, videos and things like that, but this was done under trained supervision of doctors in psych wards and in places. This was a test where of foreign sight. The foreign sight was somebody would write a shape on that piece of paper. She can't see it
mhm.
and would tell them exactly what it was and got it right every single time. That
Yeah.
hole in the wall was from her room where, I believe it was her bathroom that, the sink got ripped off the wall. The faucet was turned at an angle that you would have had to hit it with a sledgehammer. You know what I mean? Because remember,
Mhm.
this is all metal stuff. The sewer pipe that went down was ripped in half. So even if you can say, okay, she did all of this stuff on herself, the facts are an 11-year-old girl cannot split without equipment a metal pipe. You just
Mhm.
can't. So that's
Yeah.
where all those pictures came from, of Joasia.
Yeah, and I had his phone number in here. So now I have to go find it because I didn't remember I didn't go on. I thought it was in here in the comments and it's not there. And there must be something going on
Well, if you were
because
on one computer, that would be why.
well no. Even my Gmail just shut down. I had
Oh,
because I
great.
can go I was gonna go in my Gmail because he gave me his phone number yesterday and I'm having a hard time locating it because my whole computer my email just shut down. So I'm trying to find his number.
So one thing while Jenny gets that ready is I want to share the poltergeist curse, because it wasn't just Heather O'Rourke that passed away. I want to shed some light on some of the other interesting stories, because these are pretty crazy. So you have Heather O'Rourke, who was the young focal point of the whole series, and she was 6 years old. And right after the third one came out that she was in, she died from a congenital intestinal abnormality that was misdiagnosed. So this poor girl went on through all that pain at a young age, 6 to like 9 or 10 years old, and just was in pain for that entire time and ended up dying because doctors misdiagnosed her and did not want to correct what they fixed or what they effed up, really. She died in
Mhm.
Children's Hospital in San Diego, which is very, very sad. So, not only was it her, Dominique Dunn, who played the older sister, Dana, if you remember that from the first movie, met a unforeseen fate as well. In 1982, she separated from her partner, and in November of that year, he showed back up at her house, pleading for her to take him back. She refused. He grabbed her neck, choking her till she was unconscious, then
Oh
left
my
her to
God.
die in her Hollywood home's driveway. Unfortunately, he only got 6.5 years in prison and served only 3 years.
Hmm.
So very, very sad and very, very odd. You also have two other cast members who died, Julian Beck and Will Sampson. The evil preacher, if you remember from Poltergeist 2, was Julian Beck. And in 1983, he was diagnosed with stomach cancer that took his life soon after he finished work on the second filming. That same film was met with tragedy when Will Sampson played Taylor, the Native American shaman, if you remember that. He died after undergoing a heart and lung transplant and had a very slim survival rate. You also have cast deaths of family members of the cast who have passed away as well, not to mention um, that Joe Beth Williams, who played Diane, the mother, claimed that, and this is a claim, that Spielberg insisted on using real human skeletons as the props
Oh my
on an
God.
attempt to save money.
Why would you do that? That's
I don't
ridiculous.
know. You remember that scene though,
Yeah,
and
I remember it. Those were real.
that's what the claim is.
Oh
It's
my
never been
God.
verified, but why would, you know, everything lines up. This is your star in the film, and in real life at that time, that human skeleton was cheaper than plastic skeletons. It just was, and not to mention, that the Samson, who was a real life medicine man, he passed away due to circumstances
I
mentioned
know. That's
above.
why.
He performed an authentic exorcism after shooting wrapped up one night.
Oh my God.
So not only did this man pass away, we heard about how he died, but after one night of filming, he was a real life Native American shaman. He went and did their version of an exorcism and came back to work the next day, which, you know, pissed people off.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think I might have his number, but it's not coming up on my email. Is that why am I echoing? Do you have your sound up?
No,
Well, that's crazy.
I don't hear you echoing.
I hear it. There's something going on. I'm, I don't know what's going on, but I can hear myself echoing.
When you're trying to
I'm
call him.
No, I haven't tried to call. I was waiting for him to call to touch base with me on the I don't know if this is him or not, because for some reason it's not there anymore on my computer. I'm not literally it's not on my it's not there. It's not on my email. I don't
Your
understand it. The email with the phone number he sent me, and I had it in I put it all in the chat. His phone
Okay.
number, everything in the chat, and then it's not in the chat anymore. And it's not on my email. And I looked in my trash bin, it's not there either. And Gmail's it must be an internet thing, because I can't get into my Gmail. It keeps kicking me out. Let me just try one more thing. I'll try to call this. This might not be him, but it might be him. But I told him I was calling, so maybe we'll just try it and see what happens. If it's
Okay.
him, I thank the gods. But if it's not, I'll just wait for his email.
Yeah.
And okay, because we're running out. I want to have some time with him. I thought yeah, it's not letting me in. It's making me verify my email address. So let me
Do you
just
have
try
the number?
Yeah, I have the number. I just don't know if I don't know if this is him or not. So I'm just going to try. Now it's going to come through my computer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try this. Let me go to Google. Let's try Google Voice. Because I did it up. We forgot we were supposed to test it. It's going to be one of those. Nothing ever goes right with this, I swear. There's the gremlins in here, I swear.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. There's
Poltergeist.
There's something going on. Okay, someone's playing games. Okay, I hope this is it. Keep your fingers. It might be some kind of telemarketer. Because I just went to when I called.
We'll ask him.
We talked yesterday.
Okay.
Can make sure this wants to keep my fingers crossed. Okay. It's not ringing. I can't hear anything. Oh, here it comes. Can you hear that? Hi, Joel. Good. I can. Tom, can you hear?
No, I only hear you.
You can't hear. You only hear me.
Yeah.
Well, this ain't gonna work. You're gonna have to call him because I have internal speakers.
Gotcha. Okay. Send me the number.
Joel, we're gonna call you back. For some reason, I can't pick you up on the computer. Okay. All right. Well, that doesn't work. I thought this would come up through my speakers.
Yeah.
It's weird. It doesn't.
You can hear it. You can hear it, and the audience can hear it. It's just not me.
Why can't you hear it?
Not sure.
Who's that? Did someone just pop in?
Me.
All right. Here's just here. I'll call you. I'll text it I'll put it in the chat.
Okay.
Well, we should have tested this out. Okay. Hold on. Let's do this. Okay. Private chat. That's weird. Don't know why that didn't work. I thought that's why we did this. Oh, well. Okay. Are you ready for that? Let me see. Make sure I have it right. Okay.
215.
That's near you.
That's me. All right.
Oh wait, he could have did it. Was that you?
That's me.
Oh. You're confusing that. See, is it ringing?
You hear that?
Hardly. Put it up to your mic.
Hello, Joel. Yes, that's me.
You're echoing real bad. We can't hear him.
Yeah. Hold on 1 second.
Can you hold it up to your...
All right, talk now, Joel.
Are you also calling from Pittsburgh?
No, he's calling from... Yeah, I can hear him, but you're all echoey. So
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes. Tom is calling from... Where are you at, Tom? Philadelphia?
Yep, Philadelphia.
Go ahead.
Hello?
Okay. We can hear you. Okay, let's just go ahead. So, Joel, tell me...
Can you both hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I don't hear Jenny now.
He doesn't hear me. Can you just put him on the speaker?
Yeah, Joel, I'm going to call you on my phone.
Well, do you want me to hang up?
Yeah, this Google Voice doesn't work. So just call him on your phone and just put him next to the speakers.
Yeah,
I had to do this
worked.
with
That
that's
worked
when I
before.
do. Yeah, I did it when I do Stan Gordon. We have to do that. I just have to call him on my phone and put him next to the mic. He's gonna.
All right. Can you hear that?
Yeah, and all my there's something. I'll talk to you later after the show.
Hello,
Hi.
Joel, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Can Jenny hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you
so
good.
all three of us can communicate with one another.
Yeah, we can. It's just a little crazy.
A little crazy. Technical difficulties.
StreamYard is a little not so. It's sometimes
not so friendly to us sometimes. But
sorry, I only have a landline phone. I wish I could accommodate you better, but that's all I have.
Yeah, this is fine.
Totally fine.
This is fine. So,
and
Joel,
you're near me, Joel.
Yeah, you're near Tom.
Yeah, I'm in Westchester.
Oh, you're close.
Yeah, yeah. And then we got.
I'm in Glen. Are you familiar with Glenside, Cheltenham,
Yeah.
Spark area?
Absolutely.
Well, I'm in Glenside, so I'm pretty close. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So go ahead, Jenny. Kick us off with this.
Yeah, I just want to say welcome to Chasing Prophecy, Joel. And can you tell us a little bit about the work you did and what drove you to do the translate this work for Exclusive Force?
Well,
Elusive Force. Elusive Force.
Do you want me to say a few words about my educational background, my professional experience?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and do that.
Well, I majored in Slavic languages. First of all, Russian literature at the University of Michigan. And then I went on to the same school to get a master's degree in Slavic languages and literatures. I studied all the Slavic languages, mostly on my own. And since languages are one of my passions, I branched out to a number of others, such as German and Spanish. I studied Latin in high school, but I never made use of that in my professional life. So that's a brief summary of my educational background. Professionally, I worked as a medical proofreader in Philadelphia for a year. I did freelance work for several private companies, the Franklin Institute in Philadelphia, a couple of government agencies, and in 1984, I happened to find out about an opening in the Office of Language Services at the State Department, which is a little language services there is a very little known or maybe even unknown part of the government, but it's crucial to the conduct of foreign policy. It turns out my predecessor there in his 80s knew something like 30 languages, and he was retiring, so they were looking for a replacement, and so my application came at the right time. If I had applied 6 months earlier or 6 months later, I might have not even been invited to take their test. So I went down to Washington, passed the Battery Language Test, and in 1985 I joined the State Department. That's how I began my career there. Would you like to ask any questions about that, or shall I go on?
No, we're gonna get to that because I want to, like we were talking last night on the phone. I just wanted to know what drove you to do this, to translate this book. Was there something in the paranormal that you were into?
Well, a couple of things. First of all, back in the 1970s, I developed an interest in certain paranormal subjects. I read, let me see, a book called Rolling Thunder by Doug Boyd. I don't know if you're familiar with that book, but it describes the life and activity of an American Indian shaman, and it really fascinated me. Around the same time, I read some of the books by Carlos Castaneda, Don Juan, the shaman, the Mexican Cujero, or shaman, and I discovered the writings of Eric von Däniken, who popularized the paleoarchaeology and the idea of alien intervention in human civilization. So all this came together to develop my interest in, the unconventional, the, generally known as the paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
How did I find out about this particular Polish case? Well, in 1988, even earlier, 85 or 86, I met a Polish couple in Northern Virginia. They emigrated from Warsaw, during the period of martial law in Poland, and through a mutual acquaintance, I met this couple, and the wife was a journalist named Margaret Burgers. And since I speak Polish, I was able to communicate with these people very comfortably and developed a kind of friendship with them. And in the fall of 1988, I believe it was, Margaret told me about this book called Chwytna Siła, which literally in Polish means the elusive force. And she told me that an American publisher might be interested in having this book translated. And she gave me a copy to read, and I was totally fascinated with this particular case. And I began translating it sometime late in winter of 1988. It took me about 8 or 9 months to complete. And the unfortunate thing was I worked without a contract. I took this woman's word, good faith, and believed that there was a publisher waiting for this translation. And this did not prove to be true, but I'm not going to dwell on that unpleasant episode. So, I made some bad mistakes back then. I found myself in the manuscript, and I sent it out to maybe 8 to 10 publishing companies, and the answer was invariably the same. Fascinating case, good translation, but not enough publicity. You see, publishing companies, maybe I don't have to tell you this, but they're not run by editors, they're run by businessmen.
Yeah. Yep.
Who have their eye on profit, the bottom line.
Yeah, Jenny and I are both authors, so we know about that part.
And they, but I did strike gold in one instance. I sent my book to Dr. Richard Broughton. Is that naming anything to you? He's well known in the paranormal research community. He was head of the Ryan Research Center in Durham, North Carolina, which is one of the leading paranormal research centers in the world. He took an interest in this case. He read my manuscript, made some valuable suggestions on terminology, and he even came to my house in Silver Spring, Maryland, to meet me, and he eventually incorporated parts of my translation in his book, 1991 book titled Parapsychology, the Controversial Science. So that led to a couple of other contacts. Guy Lyon Playfair, who is he tried to find a publisher for me in England, and I almost succeeded at White Crow Books, which is in Guildford, England, expressed an interest in bringing out the book. But the deal fell through mostly because of copyright issues. You see, the publisher, White Crow Books, was in England. The authors, Marek, Rymuszko, and Ostrzycka, lived in Warsaw, and they don't know English. They didn't know English at the time. And I lived in the United States, and it proved to be almost impossible to reach an agreement on, conflicting copyright laws, division of royalties. So that led to another disappointment. That was around 2012, 13. So the book continued lying in my drawer for another decade until I finally.
Joel,
Yes, go ahead.
can I interrupt a little bit? I wanted to know. Okay, I started to read the book. Okay, what is your opinion of this case? What is your honest opinion? Do you think it is a legitimate poltergeist, or do you think it's some type? You do.
I met the authors. I went to Poland twice.
Okay.
I met the authors. I spoke to them, and they took me in 1989, 1990 to meet the subject, Joasia Gajewski, and her family. So my impressions were favorable. I have no doubt. I have no reason to doubt the credibility of either the authors or the honesty and integrity of the people I spoke to, including 2 eyewitnesses.
Yeah, and so to recap for the audience, if you're just turning in, this Joel has translated a Polish story over here in America about a young girl, Joasia, who had several documented experiences from medical professionals.
More than several, sir. This continued for 7 years.
Yes, so over that period of time, numerous things have happened that were documented in the poltergeist and paranormal realm. A couple that come to mind are the broken glass incident of the mirror from the room across the hall from her that broke in her room, and there was no explanation of how it got from there to there. So this young girl also has experienced some telekinetic ability, such as bending spoons. One thing that I did want to ask you, Joel, one thing that stuck out to me was she had mentioned in this that if she has dreams and she remembers her dreams, that they were likely to happen. That would indicate some sort of premonition, wouldn't it?
Well, she did pass telepathy tests that were administered to her by scientists and the authors of the book. So she, in addition to her psychokinetic powers, if you want to call them that, she did have some sort of precognition, which makes the case very unusual. We can go into that further, but I also should point this out, a very important thing. She was studied over a period of 40 months by several interdisciplinary teams, specialists, including biophysicists, physicians, metallurgists, and psychologists, who tested and experimented with her under strict laboratory conditions. They filmed some of these experiments, and again, I have no reason to doubt the honesty or competence of these specialists who are all named in the book, by the way. They're not anonymous.
That's great. No, that's definitely wonderful. That they went on record in saying that, and that ends. Jenny, just spitballing here between you and me, like that lends so much credibility to it that this is, it wasn't a one-time thing. It wasn't over a little bit of time either. This is 40 months, multiple different interdisciplinary medical professionals. You think of the training.
It always seemed like it happened when she was ill or sleeping. Now, Joel, is this some kind of is it like a entity, or is this just some kind of
Well, let me first qualify my statement. I'm not a professional paranormal researcher. I'm not a scientist. I'm a translator with an interest in certain paranormal subjects.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't give you a definitive answer.
What do you
Actually,
think? Do
no
you?
one can. This phenomenon of current spontaneous psychokinesis is still a very contentious subject. Let me give you an example. The book has been reviewed in several prestigious journals. One of them, the Australian Journal of Parapsychology. The book reviewer Rob Tilley describes all these phenomena to a supernatural entity or ghost, or whatever you want to call this. And he actually claimed that Joasia was able to access what he called the higher dimensions of consciousness, which attracted this entity, and all this could have been prevented if a well-qualified medium had been summoned and expelled this entity. There would have been no need for scientific research at all. This is hotly disputed by researchers who take a more, let's say, pragmatic, scientific viewpoint. They believe, a lot of them believe, that poltergeist phenomena should not be ascribed to supernatural or occult forces, but rather to a disturbance in force field or gravity generated by the interaction of hormonal changes and emotional turmoil, which is very common among teenagers. And this phenomenon has been observed particularly among adolescent girls. Now, whether that's true in this particular case, again, I leave that to the professionals to debate and to hypothesize. But I think Rob Tilley, the reviewer whom I mentioned, is wrong. There was no evidence whatsoever that this girl, Joasia Gajewski, had ever dabbled in witchcraft, occult science, Ouija boards, or other such, pursuits. She was an ordinary Polish teenager in a lower middle, I think a working class family. And so this claim of, possession, demonic possession, or, an entity taking over her consciousness is totally groundless. There's no proof of that whatsoever.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, there has been.
Let me also just add that I don't, this is a very complex phenomenon that has been going on for, throughout human history.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure we can pinpoint one single cause to every single, every case.
Yeah.
There may be multiple causes, even in one case. Maybe there was an entity to begin with, but does that explain her telepathic powers? Did he have to invent these spoons and massive communication cables for her? I frankly doubt it. So there could be a multiple causation for all I know. That's what makes the case so fascinating. She was actually able to channel some of this original poltergeist activity into, how to say it, controlled energy. Not always, but sometimes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Over a period of 7 years, and the duration of that, makes the case unique in many ways.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of unique facets and facts about this case. The length of time, the the documented experiments, the documented tests that she has proven herself time after time, are all fascinating. And to your point, I agree. When you speculate about this, there are causes. There are pluses on all categories about explanations, but as someone like myself and Jenny, we can just appreciate it for what it is. We don't have to know why or what happened, what it was. But in the poltergeist world, in the theme of it, there is, is it an entity or is it just energy based out of the human
Yeah.
form?
Well, when I was reading the book about the part where once this happened, she would become ill or like withdrawn, like her energy
Yes.
was zipped, and it also affected her dog, like and people around her. That when she would exhibit these phenomena, they would like zap the energy from it. That's what totally interests me.
You know what, Jenny? I wish Nicole was on here because she can say that she can astral travel. She can navigate the astral plane. At least she claims. And
Mhm.
what I found fascinating is in speaking with her for a while now, and she's been a wonderful guest of our show. She's on our network now. But when it comes to that, she always says, like, I don't do it because it's draining. And I eventually asked her one time, what do you mean it's draining? What is it? Is it like a workout? You know what I mean? She said, my energy field is so low. I feel
Mhm.
so zapped of energy that nothing is wrong with me, but
Yeah.
I feel ill and I feel like I can't, I don't have the energy to
But
go on. Now, if
you know
she's
what?
able to access that plane and this young girl's able to access that plane, let's put like and like together. Maybe that did happen to her too.
Well, Tom and Joel, a lot of people who were abducted have the same feeling when they were close to an entity from like an extraterrestrial or some kind of
Yes.
biological entity. They
Ultra-terrestrial,
have that
extraterrestrial.
same feeling where the energy is just like their body is drained of energy when they come in contact with us. So you don't know. Maybe she's experienced something like that.
Yeah.
Well, let me just interject. Explaining an unknown phenomena like a poltergeist
Hmm.
by another unknown force such as an astral being or demonic entity really begs the question. Teenagers go through puberty.
Hmm.
Many have emotional turmoil,
Yeah.
experience hormonal changes. What about this particular girl, if there was some kind of supernatural force, how did she attract it? What did she deliberately wish it into her life?
You know,
Did her brain configuration, her brain, attract some sort of
Maybe.
malicious force that upended her life? We're trying to account for one mysterious phenomenon by appealing to another unexplainable phenomenon. It really doesn't. It just leaves us with more questions.
yeah, and we have a comment. It could have been influenced by someone else close to her putting it on her. And that's
Well,
It seems like teenagers are so affected by
her telepathic powers
outside
or the
forces.
ability to bend, objects,
Yeah.
including communication. I mean,
It
it
takes a
doesn't
lot of
answer
power
the
to do that,
entire
Joel.
issue. It doesn't address the entire issue. What about this particular girl?
Mhm.
yeah, no,
It takes
no,
so much energy to move a spoon. So
I would imagine it
sh
would take a
is
ton of energy to do that. And you're right, Joel. Like if this, let's just play devil's advocate. If this was something else in her, that got into her, whether through herself or somebody else, um, it and it's masking itself by allowing her to seem like she can control it. I would think it wouldn't stop with just one thing.
yeah.
Her ability to use telekinetic power, if that's the word, to bend things in front of people to see images on the other side of the room in tests, um that that seems like an energy based, her manipulating her surroundings to pass tests, and it seems like there's a portion of it that isn't controlled. Is that fair?
Well, again, I leave that to the professional researchers and scientists. Um, I don't claim any superior insight into this phenomenon. My task was to translate the book and to act as a facilitator.
Mhm.
Yes.
I don't claim anything beyond that. But, we're still left with this mystery. It happened
Yeah.
swiftly and suddenly in the spring of 1983, and the phenomenon ceased just as suddenly and inexplicably.
Oh, it stopped. It's completely stopped. She doesn't have any.
Why did it start then, and why did the entity grow bored? Did it get bored with her? I mean, there's no explanation.
No.
So it just left on its own.
Well, it stopped. She
Yeah.
From what I understand, again, I wasn't a direct eyewitness, later on after I met her, but she apparently lost these abilities.
Wow.
Well after the stage of puberty, however. In most cases, such phenomena occur maybe a few months or over a period of a year.
Wow.
And in her case, it lasted for 7 years. Again, I don't know of any explanation for that.
Yeah.
And no one does. We're just left with hypotheses.
You know, Joe, I did a lot of research on this one particular person who believes he channels an alien called Bashar. Bashar, is that his name?
Bashar,
Tom?
yeah.
Bashar. And he would get, when he would channel this entity, he would have he could do so much with his mind. To me, a poltergeist in this capability, to me, it sounds like it's probably something was channeling, and like she became one with this other being to give her the ability to move things, with her mind, and to bend spoons and forks and knives. I mean, because it takes so much energy to do that. Because
Yeah.
I don't believe it could have came just from herself. What do you think?
Well, let me just add something that may throw additional light on this phenomenon.
Okay.
The co-authors of the book, Anna and Marek, wrote a sequel called The Return of the Elusive Force in 1994. It was a case in a Warsaw hospital where a person was in a comatose state, apparently as a result of acute alcohol poisoning. And when he entered the hospital, violent psychokinetic activity, or poltergeist, whatever you call it, started happening and was witnessed. And these occurrences were witnessed by trained nurses, physicians, other patients over a period of 7 days. And the person in a comatose state was obviously not conscious, so he had no control over any of these phenomena. Did an entity enter his mind or his body during his coma and then suddenly disappear when this person died? I mean, again, other questions.
Mm-hmm.
The broad issue why this case should be fascinating to people in general is that it raises questions about the nature of consciousness, the limits of reality. If a person is in a coma and yet can cause these effects, how do you explain that? Is their consciousness leave the body, in a discarnate form and create these effects? If so, why this particular individual? Why not other people in a coma?
Yeah.
Again,
Your mind is powerful. They say our mind's like our brain's like a computer, so maybe we can do something like that with our mind and brain. And
But Joel, thank you for your time, man. I really appreciate all of your wonderful stories and translating and man, it was just a wonderful read. You did a wonderful job, and the story's fascinating. So thank you so much for your
hats
work.
off to you.
Yeah, hats off.
Well, you're very kind. Any questions from you or listeners that you would like to ask, or are we through for the night?
I believe we are good.
Yeah, I think we pretty much answered what we had in the chat. They were
Yeah.
they were interested in what you had to say and what was,
Yeah, we
you
were feeding
know.
them in as from the screen as we were talking to you.
Well, if anyone would like to contact me, you're free to give them, my email address.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I'm always eager to, share my opinions and whatever insights they may have with other people.
Yeah,
Well,
and I'm so
thank
glad
you.
I found you on
Yes.
Facebook. Well, you have a great night,
Have a great night, Joel.
Joel.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Oh,
Bye-bye.
you're welcome.
All right. So, that was Joel Stern, translator of the Elusive Force. And yeah, I was hoping to hear Tyler. I agree. I was hoping to hear more opinion and about the poltergeist, and he had a little more expert analysis than what we
Yeah.
would have, and we would have loved to hear all of that. Apologize for the technical
Yeah.
difficulties.
Sorry about that.
We will reconvene on that and get that fixed. Which I was trying to do it on one screen. The fact of the matter is, if you have a call-in number, you need a laptop or a tablet. It's just the way it is. So, we'll get that working and allow people to call in, and that way it'll be wonderful. So, Jenny, what do you think about this whole thing? I hear you, Tyler.
believe. What did he say?
Sorry about that, Jenny. Go ahead.
Yeah. It goes back to the fact when you're an adolescent, you have all this energy in you,
You do.
but your mind is so open to all kind of different entities, and it could be that something channeled her, whether it's good or bad, because I don't know. I've seen some weird things happen to me when I was a teenager. And even
Likewise, yeah.
not too long ago when I don't know if I told you that when I worked in an office building, I would break all the electrical appliances by just touching them. And I have so much static. And that's one of the things that they said about him. God bless you. That she had to be very careful, like, because if you walked, like when I walk on carpet or anything like that, I produce static electricity. There's some times where I produce static electricity just by walking. I have so much this in me. It's you don't want to be
That's the
next to me.
definition
And
of
that's
it,
why
right?
when I wrote my book From the Sky, my one character, Lucian, every time he would touch Samantha, it would spark.
Shocker.
He was
Yeah.
shocker. And not only did I break appliances, I could actually not to say that I moved it myself. I was telling you about the Reiki. I went to
Yeah.
Reiki and I'm laying on the table and the
Mhm.
practitioner was doing her thing and everything was falling off of her desk and the bookshelf. And she said, "Oh my God, I never had that experience with somebody before like you." But she's experienced it before, but not like it to this extent. I was knocking, but I'm in my bedroom at night. Now I've told you this. Didn't I
Yeah.
tell you this? Well, I can hear all these things fall off my desk and in my knickknacks move and stuff. And I'm in my bed. I'm like, holy shit.
With
What's
her,
going
it was
on?
asleep too. It was something
Yeah.
about the night or going to
So
sleep. It doesn't have to be night,
I don't
but
know if it's poltergeist. I'm hoping it's just me and not some other force that's coming, that's trying to come into my brain or something or my
yeah.
room. But
No,
I
you're
love
right.
talking about poltergeist because I love the movie.
Yeah.
I really do.
I've seen all three.
Yeah.
It's so creepy. It's the same as The Exorcist, where that had a lot of things. Well, does it? Does it still freak you out, or are you used to it?
It freaks me out still. Like I'm in my office, and the reason why I have a green screen right now is because everything falls off the walls. It's like, and it's right behind me. It's like, and Sean Kelly could testify a lot of things that happened when we were on film. He could see orbs flying by.
I've seen
So,
them with you. I'm just not. Yeah, yeah.
oh, you
You do
have?
have that. Yeah, I've seen it.
Oh, that's
If
crazy. You
loyal
never told me.
listeners, yeah. Well, no, I'm not gonna say that it could be anything. You know what I mean? But I've definitely seen orbs, and you're in that. You're in a very let's say, history rich area.
Mhm.
A lot of trauma on that land from back in the
Yeah.
day, a lot of expansion, a lot of settlers, a
Mhm.
lot of um, colonial people moving into Western Pittsburgh. The battles that they had back French Indian War and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
There's a lot of history in your area, and a part of me thinks now this is going to sound like conspiracy theory, but whatever. A part of me thinks that wood is can harness that sort of energy. And you have a
Wood.
ton of trees in that
Oh,
area. You
I know.
always have.
Well, I told you the thing that happened to me with my tree. I mean, I totally
Yeah,
believe it.
yeah.
There's just too much weird stuff. The wood, yeah, I never thought about the wood, but the trees.
Because look,
And I
if you believe
have to ground
energy,
myself.
if you believe that this is energy and we're just energy beings in a solid
Mhm.
form, if you believe that wood holds heat, it barely, but it can conduct electricity. If who's
Yeah.
to say it's not a great, holder of energy in our certain frequency? A lot of haunted houses. What are they? Historic, all wood.
Mhm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, when you have new construction houses where you don't really have a lot of that stuff, that's not as much wood compared to other material.
Yeah.
But you have, Chestnut Ridge is a beautiful area,
Yeah, it
and
is a
you guys
beautiful
have
area.
so many different things in that. If nature is a conductor or a conduit for this type of anomalies and these type of
Mhm.
things, you're in one of the most ground zero places. Where else do they talk about this? They talk about it in the Southwest with their underground
Mhm.
courts that they have all over there. Great holder of
Yeah.
energy. Bigfoots and the Pacific Northwest. What do they have up there? A fuck ton of woods. Where you have these things, these experiences tend to happen. Now, what does that mean? I don't know.
Well, I don't know either, but I find it a very fascinating topic, and you
It
can
doesn't get
talk all
talked
night
about
about it.
enough. You know that?
Mhm.
It
That's
really doesn't.
definitely. Maybe Tyler wants to know, maybe it's the energy you give up. Yeah, it can manipulate particle. Oh, definitely manipulate particles. I have to sleep with a grounding mat.
Oh, you have a grounding mat. That's nice.
Yes, I
You
sleep
like
with a
it?
grounding mat. Yeah, because I feel that I need to be grounded with all the different electrical appliances, and I have a lot of electricity in me. I
You
conduct a
do.
lot of energy, but I
Yeah.
I can't sleep without it. But the only thing is, if there's storming, I take it off because I don't know how, because it's outside. Yeah, Tyler, it's you have to. I mean, I ground myself all the time when I'm outside. When I'm in the pool, I'm still grounding, and I didn't know that was true because you're still inside the ground in the
It's
water,
true, yeah.
and
So,
even when you're on concrete.
if you say somebody came to you, whatever, and said, "The stuff that happens in your bedroom at night, the things, falling off, whatever," if they said that was you and it wasn't something else, would that make you feel better or would that make you feel worse?
It would make me feel better if it was me,
Okay.
because no, I'm a very spiritual person, and I sleep with my rosary beads.
Mhm.
When I can sense something that's not right. I can, like, if I'd rather have it be me, because I know that I am pure in heart and there's nothing demonic or anything in me. So I know it's just like I conduct a lot of electricity. And then they used to say that where I worked. This is years ago. I broke copy machine after copy machine by just touching it. Putting the fax machines. It was horrible. And in my computers, and I was just telling my daughter-in-law, I have a brand new computer, and I left the computer. Now I'm hoping it's me and not somebody else, but I left the computer and I came back. Nothing worked. Everything, the settings were all messed up. Like, okay, who did that? Like, I couldn't do the touch, it's this touch screen. I couldn't do the keyboard, like the touchpad. Nothing. The brightness was off. Okay, I just left for a couple seconds.
You gotta get cameras for there. You got
Well, you
to.
know what?
You're
I
gonna
I
pick something
had
up.
I'm to when I set a camera up, It would
Oh, here
just
we
pick
go.
up all this noise, and it would pick up shadows, and it picks up, oh God, if I saw
Shadows?
something, shadows, like the light would change. To
You,
me, that's shadows when it picks up
you,
shadow. I had this, I
you
forget what it was.
gotta.
I'm too
I know it's
scared.
scary. I know it is. I'm not a big enough man to tape myself sleeping.
I have to tell you something. I
What
had,
happened?
do you know these things on your phone that you can record sounds?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
There was something I wish I could find it. I have to go see first. It was going
Did you record a EVP?
like that.
Whoa.
It was walking like it was talking, like whispering.
See, you would have had to throw that on Adobe.
No,
You
I
gotta
would
throw that
freak
on Audition
out.
and slow that down.
No, it says you're going to burn in hell.
Well, it's just trying to scare you if it did. Tell it, well, no, you don't want to egg it on. That's the worst thing you can do.
No. Well, you know what? When I use my sage, I burned it in here the other day because I was like, what the hell's in this room? And it got worse.
'Cause
Literally,
well,
everything got worse.
you stirred it up.
Well, you know, my son used to work in this office, and he said nothing ever happened to him. It just happens to me.
Hmm.
And it's like one time I was working upstairs doing the show, and I'm not kidding you. You can ask Sean that I'm doing the show, and it felt like somebody came behind me and just put their hand on my hair. I was like,
On your hair?
"Oh,
What, like a
yes."
pet, or just like put
It's
it
like
on,
so you
or
could
like
just feel like, you can just feel, how you can feel some like
yeah.
if you just do that. And the same moment that happened, Sean goes, Jenny, this huge orb just went by you. I was had a heart attack.
I mean,
Oh my
that's
God.
independent confirmation right there. Somebody away from you saw it. You felt the physical. They saw the visual.
Like not only we're like I said, we're on the Chestnut Ridge, but there's a lot of people that I passed away in my family. It's like they're all haunting me. It's like they're trying to, they get a kick out of it.
Yeah.
They're just like, let's torture Jenny for a little bit. Just a little bit. Just make her not have nightmares.
They don't have anything
Oh,
better to do.
I know, really. Okay, I want to ask anybody out there. I want to talk about this show one day. Just do it strictly about this series on it was on Paramount. No, it was on MGM. It's called From.
Oh, I've seen
It
that.
is
That's
the
a
most
wonderful series.
it is the most scariest series I've ever watched, and it takes a lot to scare me.
Really?
Yes, when
That
it
was
comes to
on your
shows.
scare?
Oh, it's so scary. Did you watch it, Tom?
Yeah. All
You
the
have
2
to watch.
seasons of it.
Okay, now the new season is up. The first day, I don't want to tell any spoilers, but that was horrifying. Well,
Yeah,
Tyler,
it's
you're gonna
MGM
have to
Plus,
watch it.
Tyler.
Tyler,
MGM
I
Plus.
was so upset
It
last
has the
time.
one guy from Lost, Michael.
He's
He's the
from
lead in
Lost?
that. Michael, yeah. The lead. He was the guy with the son that was fighting Jin and
He
his
was on.
wife.
He was on. That guy was on.
Lost, yeah.
Which one? Which
The sheriff, the black guy.
he was on Lost? No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was. Look him up. He was Michael in Lost.
Let
You
me
know, with the
see.
son, and he got
Oh,
into
wait
it
a
with
minute.
Jin and Soo Young or whatever her name
Let
was.
me see, Michael.
Yeah. I accept your
Is that?
apology when you look it up and you see I'm right.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I haven't. I don't remember him being on. I do
It's
not.
Tyler, it's MGM Plus. I believe you get to it through Prime.
Was he really
Now,
on it?
MGM Plus is like another
Oh, he
streaming thing you have
was.
to
I
pay
don't
for.
remember him on
But
Lost.
but it has a 7-day free trial. So if you have some time coming up, watch. That's pretty much the only thing you can watch on there that's
Oh
worth
my
it.
God, it was.
But sign up for the 7-day trial, Tyler, and then cancel it once you get done. It's really good. It's well written.
Oh my God,
Jenny,
yeah.
I mean, it is freaky, but really scary.
I thought it was very scary, especially last night. Well, you didn't.
See,
You have to watch
I didn't
it
see
because
last
it's
night. I
gotten
only saw.
really. You have to watch it because it got really, really. You didn't see those people, those things from the Talon. You know what do you call them things?
Yeah, no, 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 no.
You didn't see them, but you see them really. You saw them, but you
Okay.
really didn't see them. You know, when you're gonna see them, and they're like so freaking scary,
Yeah.
so
I
scary.
mean, there's no
You gotta.
spoilers. No
I'm not
spoilers in
telling
here,
you
but
I'm not telling you no spoilers. They're
no, no, no,
just
no. I'm telling Tyler, no spoilers, but basically the concept is this sort of town where if you go out at night, you get killed by creatures.
no.
Um,
Tyler, you have to watch it, but you have to start on the first one.
but you know what it is also, Jenny? It's a good show to put yourself in to see, you know what I mean? To see like, what would I do here? What would I do there? It's a good show like to think about too.
Yeah, I don't want to ever be in that situation. Never.
You got
When
to,
like I would never want to be in that. And to think that
and it starts off
yeah.
like fast, Tyler. So it's not like something you have to build on. You get right into it.
Yeah, it's not like it's a fast moving.
Yeah.
The writers are fantastic.
They
They
are good
really can
writers.
write.
They are good
They're
writers.
good writers.
I had to look them up, and I tracked what they also had written or co-wrote and things like that, and they have a good pedigree behind them.
Very good
So,
story.
which is weird why it would go to MGM Plus. I wonder if they bought it first or if several bigger companies, I should say, passed on it because it's really good.
Well, Amazon isn't. I guess they bought
They got
MGM, but
Prime.
I
Yeah,
thought for
MGM
sure
Prime,
you
yeah.
could watch the first one for free on Amazon. It is.
Well,
I
and you
think
can
it's
sign up for a
it is
7-day
cool.
trial for free too, and then
Yeah,
that's
it's
what got me to pay for it was because I started watching. Now, I watched it when the first and second season were already out. I didn't
yeah.
do it like
I did
episode
too, and
by okay.
I
I
binge
went straight
watched.
through. Yeah, same
Yeah,
here. It was
I didn't
really good.
stop, Tom. I didn't. I think I had a couple breaks. I watched it one weekend, so I didn't do anything. I'd get up, go to
Ah,
sleep. I'd watch it to 2 o'clock in the morning, and I can't believe
atta
I
girl.
finished it.
There you
I
go.
just totally watched it. It was so good. I wish
Yeah.
they would just download, like drop them all. You
Yeah.
know, I wish they would
Yeah.
drop them all, and then you could watch them like that. Because I hate waiting. And there's nothing to watch. I mean, I watched that, and I'm waiting for The Handmaid's Tale, and they're not going to have that done till 2025 sometime.
Well, here's
What else
another
was
one
it?
that's kinda similar. Watch The Terror. It was an older series, like 2012, 2013.
The Terror, like
The Terror.
the
Terrow, The Terror. And it's about the turn of the century, like ships, like he tries to go through this Arctic passage or Antarctic passage, and his ship gets frozen. And there's like these creatures outside of the ship on the ice, and they're like attacking the men and things like
Wait,
that.
how
So
do
it's
you
kind of
spell that? Because
similar.
I'm hearing
Like terror, like
terror. Like
Terror.
oh,
The
really? I
Terror.
didn't see
Yep.
The Terror.
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up.
Look that one up. That's going to have 2 seasons as well. But it's something that would last. And there's 2 ships in this thing, and you have like one captain who's a drunk, and the other one who's like very regimented. But people from their ship keep going missing because they have, it's not going to thaw until spring.
Mhm.
Remember, this is like 1900, and they have to go out and kill, like, to have food and all of that for the men. But something out there is like, killing them.
Yeah, I'll definitely have to watch that one. I'm gonna have to download that one. There's just
House Haunting on Hill House.
oh,
That's
I
another
love
one.
that.
Yeah, that's another
See,
good
now
one,
I
Tyler.
binge watched that totally. I totally binge watched that, Tyler. Totally. I liked all of them. Wasn't there 2 of them? The same
Yeah.
characters. The guy from E.T. Was it the kid that grew up? He's on that. That was good. I was watching this crime story. What was it? The one about I watched that story again about Ted Bundy. I know I'm freaky. I watched
Yeah.
that again. And then there was the one with what's the one? I can't remember his name. There's some I like to watch creepy stuff.
Well, the
There's a
creepier, the
doctor
better.
one. Yeah. So what we're gonna do for Chasing Prophecy on October, we're gonna pretty much Well, still try to get guests, but I like to talk about all the movies, the countdown to Halloween like we used to do. And
Yeah. Let's come up with a
I think
movie for next week. We'll watch it and say what we think about it and try to find like real life examples of it.
Yeah, we're gonna
What do you
do
think
that
of that?
countdown to Halloween. And
We could
Halloween
start with the
happens to
X-Files shows.
Oh, I love the X-Files. We could
That's
do the X-Files too. I love the X-Files. I wish I would bring it back. They were supposed to, but they're not gonna have Fox and Scully on. But
no, they're gonna have a new generation or
a
so of it.
bunch of
Settle down, Nicasio.
I'm gonna say
Yeah, but no, there was a list that we found of several episodes that were, I mean,
yeah.
obviously made for for entertainment, but the case behind it was actually very, very real. But it was very, very yeah, Tyler.
I wonder why you would know that about me, Tyler.
Yeah.
Do I have do it just comes off of me through
Oh,
my
last
pores?
night we didn't do UFOs. I just talked crap about you for 2 hours.
What? No, you didn't.
I know. No.
I could be
But
a very good show. Crazy woman.
I don't think 2 hours is enough. I'm just kidding.
No.
Um,
My
but
head's gotten
no, there was
big.
several episodes that the stories behind it were real, and I've watched them, and I rewatched them actually not too long. We talked about this maybe in the beginning of the summer, and I rewatched some of those, and then I looked those cases up, and man,
Mhm. They're
what?
scary.
They're
You know,
scary.
there was the one. Okay, we're going back to the. I think they didn't they do a remake of that Twilight Zone with a guy on the plane. Didn't X-Files do that? Where the guy, remember Captain Kirk on the Twilight Zone? There's a creature on the plane wing. Wasn't there one like that on the X-Files? I'm almost certain there is. I'll have to go
There
back and
probably
look.
was. I don't know if
Yeah.
you're old enough for this, Jenny, but do
Old
you
enough.
remember? Do you know Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction? Do you remember that?
Beyond, maybe just a tad.
With
You'd have
Jonathan
to.
Frakes?
No,
No.
I don't remember.
You
No,
said
I mean,
You said Star Trek, and it reminded me of that one where they would
mhm.
tell you like 4 stories, and at the end they would tell you whether it was true or false, and they were all like creepy paranormal type of stories.
I'll have to check it out. I'm just playing around with my screens.
Look at that. That's swanky.
That's when I did the ASMR. I had this one on. I would like to do it again, ASMR. Look, aren't these cool? I think they're so neat. You can pretend you're in all these wild looking houses. This is my
Yeah.
favorite one. I'll show you my favorite. This dark. Look at my
Yeah.
bed.
That's like in Buckingham Palace.
They're fun. I like Screen Slave. I don't know why I quit doing it. I think because I kept on. I didn't have enough. My room wasn't light enough. You have to have a big light.
Gotcha.
But well, that was fun. It was a fun night.
It was a fun
Yeah,
night.
so I'm gonna have to go watch Poltergeist. Although I feel bad for all the people who died on the set. Even there was the Indian dude. There was that one dark-haired teenager. The sister Carrie Ann. Did anybody else die?
The evil like preacher. The evil preacher died, and then the little girl, Heather Rourke.
They all died
They all died.
because they
died.
actually brought those bones in. Probably those are probably human bones.
And there's a lot of evidence pointing to that being true. It's so far removed, we don't know. And cast and prop people are probably dead, but they probably did do it.
Yeah. Well, we are going to say good night.
Good night, America.
If you have any movies you want us to talk about, we can
submit them.
Submit them. The phone number, you can text that number too, and you can send us a text. And we want you on the show, so don't be afraid to call. We'll try to get it worked out that we can actually hear you with the other person.
Yeah, we just need another device.
Yeah, we'll have to figure it out. Well,
I got a
let's go ahead
tablet.
and-
I can just do it. It's no problem.
You're a tech guy. You can figure it out, right?
If I have a tablet, it's almost like another guest, and you would be able to hear them at the bottom, like a third. We would just have a third box here, and you would put them on, and you would hear them.
We'll have to try it next week. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was a great night. See you.